All Illinois workers can begin to earn paid time off this week, thanks to a new bill signed into law last year. The Paid Leave for All Workers Act allows employees to bank 1 hour of personal time for every 40 hours worked, up to 40 hours a year, regardless of full-time or part-time status. WGLT's Lauren Warnicki reports on how small business owners in Bloomington Normal are adopting to the change.
Co-owner Sarah McManus of the Garlic Press in Uptown Normal sees the value of paid time off for workers.
If there's people that are really living paycheck to paycheck, that's a very big deal.
McManus says her boutique kitchen and specialty gift shop has a strong reputation for being flexible when workers need time off.
If their car breaks down or the trains kept them late, we understand. But the difference is that they could get paid for that.
Still, the new law presents a challenge for the Garlic Press, especially when combined with a $1 increase to the minimum wage. Both took effect Monday.
Yes, it potentially could cost us more, the bottom line, there's no question.
McManus says she's offset increased labor cost through marginal price increases, passing some of the burden to customers. Another strategy has been careful attention to profit margins when selecting merchandise. Some businesses, like convenience and grocery stores, have cut labor costs by installing more self-checkout machines. For McManus, it means her and Garlic Press co-owner Pam Loxon putting in extra hours.
We're the ones that are staying till 7. We send everyone home and we work the floor. That's a direct way for us to save money on that bottom line.
It's just one more thing for employers to factor in, putting pressure on already beleaguered business owners after struggling through the pandemic. That's assuming they're aware of the law in the first place.
I will say that probably there are a ton of small businesses, especially, that have no idea this is happening.
That's Katie McBride-Rife, an employee benefits consultant at the Iowa-based firm Cottingham & Butler. McBride-Rife lives in Hudson, and she serves on the Bloomington Normal Human Resources Council.
We knew it was coming, but I mean, if you're not plugged in, if you're busy, get a two-man shop, you don't know this kind of stuff.
For larger employers with primarily full-time workers, the new law may simply mean a change to the employee handbook.
My advice to my clients has been look, if you're already offering 40 hours a year, all you have to do is say you can take it for any reason. Adding that language in there is really all you've got to do, and you've got to offer it to all your part-timers too.
But even large employers aren't totally clear on the particulars. McBride-Rife says she's getting a lot of questions about compliance to the new law and doesn't have a lot of answers.
If you're an employer that has employees all over the country, does this law apply to them, or is it just Illinois-based employees? Depends.
McBride-Rife says tracking is an additional challenge. Payroll companies are developing ways for Illinois employers to keep track of the accrual process, but companies who manage payroll internally will need to develop a system to track time earned and time off. The law also stipulates workers can use paid time off for any reason and are not required to find someone to fill their shift.
So if you're that retail shop that maybe has one or two people working, what if both of them call in the same day? And then how do you staff your store?
The law could further strain the restaurant industry, which is still recovering from the pandemic and works on razor-thin staffing and profit margins. General Manager Joe Slane of Medici and Normal keeps an on-call list for emergencies. Prior to the Paid Leave for All Workers Act taking effect, employees were expected to cover a missed shift.
We can't not have shifts covered during a day. We try to keep it to a minimum so people can make a decent amount of money, so every person is important on that day.
Like other part-time workers, servers and bartenders can now accrue up to 40 hours of paid time off a year at the minimum wage for tipped employees. As of Monday, in Illinois, that went up $1 to $8.40 an hour. The federal wage for tipped workers is $2.30 an hour. Customers may have noticed small price increases already at Medici to cover increased food and labor costs. Slane says they're taking a wait-and-see approach as to how the law will affect staffing and costs.
It's a big question mark on how that'll all pan out.
This is Sound Ideas. I'm Lauren Warnicki. It remains to be seen how Bloomington Normal's 1,200 university professors might use the new benefit from the Paid Leave for All Act. Act. Illinois State and Illinois Wesleyan University each added 40 hours of additional paid time off to workers' coffers, on top of sick and vacation time they already receive. ISU Director of Benefit Services Kelly Walker says each academic department will decide how faculty may use the time while avoiding a disruption in courses.
It's going to be new and probably a little clunky at first, but I think we'll figure it out.
Perhaps the biggest change for teachers is that the onus now falls on their department to fill a class, though professors may still choose to find their own subs. These sorts of provisions will likely have a greater impact for university faculty, whose pay is not affected by occasionally needing to miss a class.
It probably means less to this exempt staff in terms of maintaining pay, and it's more of this is an absence that can't reflect negatively on you.
Student workers are exempt from the Paid Leave for All Workers Act, as are workers protected by collective bargaining agreements. In a statement, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton says the new law serves as, quote, protecting wages and providing relief for residents and their families, while taking another major step to make our state the best place to live and work. Katie McBride-Rife of Bloomington Normal Human Resources Council is not convinced the law will attract workers to the state. The state's labor laws also make it a tough place to do business.
I'm of the mindset that you don't force employers to offer benefits if they historically haven't. I don't think that that's something that the government should necessarily be involved in.
McBride-Rife says small businesses who want to take care of their workers were likely already doing it. And without a dedicated human resources person on staff, that means expensive outsourcing to a third-party agency or private attorney.
I haven't met one business owner or HR person that's like, oh my gosh, thank gosh, I have another law that is going to take care of my people. No, it's another layer of complexity. The larger companies, they're managing it a little bit better. But yeah, for these smaller ones, it's really tough.
I'm Lauren Warnicki.
The law makes Illinois the third state in the nation to require paid time off. Coming up tomorrow on Sound Ideas, you'll hear from a Bloomington attorney who has been tasked with making the legal field in Illinois more civil, ethical, and inclusive. And speaking of courtroom civility, we'll also preview the Community Players' latest production, 12 Angry Jurors. Again, that's tomorrow on WGLT's Sound Ideas.